Have you ever prayed about something for so long that you eventually stopped knowing what else to say? You prayed, you waited, you hoped, and still, nothing seemed to change. Maybe you're dealing with a relationship that's falling apart. Maybe you're worried about your family. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe you're carrying something inside that nobody else knows about. And you've asked God, how much longer? Where are you? Why aren't you answering me? If that's where you are right now, I want you to hear this carefully. God's silence does not mean God's absence. Sometimes, the hardest part of faith isn't believing that God can do something, it's trusting Him when you can't see Him doing anything. And there's a moment in the life of Jesus that shows us exactly what that can feel like. One evening, Jesus said to His disciples, "Let's go over to the other side." So they got into a boat and started crossing the Sea of Galilee. At first, everything seemed normal. But then, the storm came. The wind became violent. The waves started crashing over the boat. Water began filling the boat. The disciples were experienced fishermen, but even they were terrified. They thought they were going to die. And where was Jesus? He was asleep. Think about that. The disciples were fighting for their lives, while Jesus was sleeping. Eventually they woke Him up, and their question was basically this: "Jesus, don't you care that we're about to die?" Maybe you've asked God a similar question. "God, don't you see what I'm going through? Don't you care? Can't you see how exhausted I am? Why aren't you doing something?" And Jesus got up. He spoke to the wind and the sea, and suddenly, the storm became calm. But notice something important. Jesus didn't stop the storm before the disciples became afraid. He didn't prevent the storm from happening. He was with them in the storm. And that's something you need to remember. Sometimes we think that if God is with us, our lives should always be peaceful. But that's not what Scripture teaches. There were storms while Jesus was physically in the boat. There were moments when His disciples were afraid. There were moments when they didn't understand what He was doing. And there will be moments in your life when you don't understand either. You may pray for an answer and receive silence. You may pray for healing and still feel broken. You may pray for a relationship to be restored and watch it fall apart. You may pray for an opportunity and hear no. And in those moments, it's easy to think, maybe God has forgotten me. But don't confuse silence with absence. Just because you can't see God working doesn't mean He isn't working. Think about a seed planted beneath the ground. For days, you may see absolutely nothing. No leaves, no flowers, no visible growth. But underneath the surface, something is happening. Your faith can feel like that sometimes. You may not see the answer yet. You may not understand the timing. You may not know what God is doing. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Maybe this message found you at exactly the right moment. Maybe you're tired. Not just physically tired, soul tired. The kind of tired that makes you say, "I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this." Maybe you've been strong for everyone else. You encourage your family. You show up for work. You smile around your friends. You tell people you're okay. But when you're alone, you finally admit the truth. You're exhausted. And maybe you've been wondering, where is God? If that's you, you don't have to pretend with God. You don't have to hide your fear. You don't have to pretend you're stronger than you are. Bring your real heart to Him. Bring the questions. Bring the disappointment. Bring the tears. Bring the confusion. Because faith doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. Faith means choosing to trust God even when everything isn't okay.